Good morning, everyone. My name is MEKAI Jordan, and this is the Car Show on Easter, hosted by Celebrity Cars. Right now, I have John Jordan right beside me, who's going to talk about his car. What kind of car is this?
This is a Chevrolet SS sedan.
And can you tell me some of the specs on this car?
Weighs 3,800 pounds. It's got an LS3 in it, which produces 415 horsepower and 415 foot-pounds of torque. And it's comparable to what I would consider a four-door Corvette. No, really, not a four-door Corvette. Maybe a four-door Camaro.
Yeah. And can you give us some history behind this car?
Yes, this car is an incarnation of the what was called the Pontiac G8.
Yeah.
When Bob Letts left in 2006, he promised those of us that are the heartbeat of America a reincarnation of this car. So, 2010, a Caprice PPV car, police patrol vehicle, was released. And then in 2014, this car was released, and it will be available through this year. The real history of the car is, in fact, it is a Holden. It was built at the GM facility in Australia, which of course has been operating ever since post-World War II, as well as the Ford factory. And this car really is it's called a V8 supercar because that's the class that it runs in the international FIA categories.
And your car is very special in a way, just partly because of how many they produce. Can you give us around the estimation of that number compared to some other cars?
Yes. The C7, for example, they produce approximately 35,000 cars.
Yes.
Okay? This car, at least for the American market, is 25,000 cars. And what I like about it is it really is a sleeper. Most people don't know what it is until they've been passed.
And one final question for you. What inspired you to get this car?
Well, I follow SEMA, and I know that my wife needed a grandma car, and she'll tell you that story.
Hello, everyone. We're back here on the Car Show on Easter, hosted by Celebrity Cars, and we got the whole family now. So we're gonna pass it over to my grandma and his grandma Becky to see what inspired them to get this car.
Well, when we went looking for a car, we needed a grandma car. And so when we looked at this car, I told the guy, we need a grandma car. He said, well, this isn't a grandma car. And I said, well, it will be if we buy it. And because we've got 4 young grandkids in California, and we drive back and forth to see them, and we need a grandma car, and we've got it.
And these were the 2 people that made the big decision to get the car. Now explain that.
They were with us. It's a 2014, and it's 2017 now, so they were quite a bit younger and
66,000
not quite as tall.
I had to kind of hide that information for the interview. So.
But anyway, they got in the car, and they checked it out. And this young guy, who was soon to be 16, he was sitting in the front seat, holding onto the steering wheel, and he said, this is a great car. I think you ought to get it. Do you think I will be a good driver when it's time for me to drive?
I was about 12 or 13 at the time, so.
And I said, yes, here you'll be a good driver with a grandpa that knows as much, Daddy being a policeman and a motorcycle policeman as well as driving a car. You're getting all the experience you need before you get there. And then a couple of minutes later, he made a young boy statement. He gets in the back seat and he said, you've got to buy this car. Look, you can pull this out to put your Coke in. So.
And one last question. Will you be willing to will it down to one of us?
Oh, of course we will. Of course, especially with you being the oldest. Yeah. You're the oldest of our 4 young ones. So yeah, that of course Grandpa has to have the final decision.
We're at 66,000 miles and counting, and he's in high school. Tell us where you're going to high school.
I'm going to high school currently at the California Academy of Math and Science.
So another engineer, aerospace, something you never know.
Yeah, well, those are some great information that you shared with us today, especially for the viewers. And we also want to thank you for watching the Car Show on Eastern, hosted by Celebrity Cars. Thank you.